Hey guys, so this is a new little segment that we're doing here on the Amp Theory.
Yeah, welcome to the Amp Theory Book Club.
Yeah, so as we research and we read books, we want to do
Yeah,
reviews, and I think it was appropriate to review.
Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. You've heard us talk about this book quite a bit as we've been going through our episodes. And like Peter said, like as we continue to fuck up what we've learned, maybe doing a quick review on the books that we've actually read might be beneficial to you, and you'll want to read them yourselves.
Yeah. So David Goggins, if y'all don't know who he is, he's a Navy SEAL. Went through BUD/S like 3 times.
3 times in the same year.
Yeah, he's an ultra runner.
Yep,
So
he's that too.
he runs 100+ mile races. Trains like a fucking savage
Daily.
daily. And he's just an overall motivational guy.
Yeah, he proclaims himself as like anti-motivational. He's like, you read my book, which we did.
Yeah.
You can take from it what you want, but he's like, don't look up to me. You're the person that you need to look up to because you're out there putting in your own work.
Yeah, and he calls it being your own hero, you know?
Yeah.
Excuse me. He's like, I'm not your hero.
Yeah.
You be your own hero. And that was actually something that really clicked with me.
Yeah.
He's been on the Joe Rogan. He's been on multiple podcasts, but
Yes.
he came across...
Yeah, because of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, because of Joe Rogan, yeah.
Because of Joe Rogan is how I was introduced to him. I watched both of his episodes on Joe Rogan, and then I read Can't Hurt Me.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that I took away from the book was just like how his mindset was just like so savage that he, it's really broad, but he's overcome like quite a bit. Like from his upbringing to where he is now, like there's a lot of adversity that he had to overcome.
Yeah, and that was the first thing that stuck out. And you're actually getting 2 reviews in this one because you read the book and
Yes.
and I heard the audiobook. And so there's slight differences in both, but hearing him like about what he's gone through in his life, from an abusive father to racism growing up, to overweight.
Yeah.
To a fear of water.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to sickle cell trait. Like just a hole in his heart. Like,
Yeah.
it's just just the story. His story is so freaking impressive, and it's inspiring.
Yeah.
and it gives you if no matter what your situation is, there is a way out. That's kind of what I got from it. It's like, man, because we all have our stories.
Yeah.
And so hearing his and how he was at such a disadvantage and he still was able to do what he did. That's what was inspiring to me.
One of the big takeaways, because we're talking about how he overcame adversity, was the fact that he, I recommend you read the book, but a very small part of it is, he wanted to serve like his country.
Yeah.
But he unfortunately wasn't smart enough to.
Yeah.
Because he had cheated his way through school. He had just been pushed along that he finally, broke it down. Like he was very hard on himself and decided that within a year's period or a year and a half's period that he was going to go from a second grade reading level to his actual reading level, which was like high school level intelligence.
Yeah.
And he completely changed his life from there. Like it was that one small step that like pushed him in the right direction.
Yeah. And so if you think that you're just gonna get like meathead stuff from the book, that's definitely not what you get. Because
Definitely not.
I mean, it's not just physical challenge, because when you hear like ultra runner, Navy SEALs, you think this guy's just like just a freaking savage and doesn't care about pain. But a lot of it was also just emotional trauma that he went through, and like you were talking about academics. He says that he's not the smartest person, but what he did to be able to learn that stuff, like because it wasn't just the high school stuff, but it's also like getting into he had to meet certain requirements to get into the military, and then also to get into the SEALs.
He one of the things that I took away from actually reading it was like there was that like desire to be more. There was that desire to do more.
Yeah.
So what really pushed him along, because he even talks about how he tried to like make everybody his friend, and that's natural. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to have like large friend group and be popular. But once he threw all that shit like aside, he was like, no, like it's about me, what I want to do. and I'm gonna like work towards my goals. Like I was like, that's awesome. Like the challenges that he like put himself through.
Yeah.
And we talk about it too. Like we rise and we fall.
Yeah.
And that's something that like David actually went through like in the book also.
Yeah. And another great thing about the book is that it actually gives you small challenges. Like he goes through his story, and he doesn't just tell you what he did, but he tells you how he does it, and he gives you, like, with every chapter, he kind of gives you a different challenge.
Yeah.
And one thing that I liked about the audio version is that, like, they did it in a like podcast type of form. So like they didn't just read the book, but he had the guy that helped him co-write it read it, and then after every chapter or after certain parts, they would have a conversation.
Yeah.
So you get like if you decide to go through Audible or whichever way to do the audio version, just know that you do get that little bit of differences. But the book is not just something to be read, but it's also something to be like to do. And while I must admit I didn't do all of the challenges,
right,
the biggest one that me and you did that really like struck a chord with us was the accountability mirror.
Yeah, you've heard us talk about the accountability mirror. Like, we talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's actually a really beneficial thing. Like if like, cause you know, weight loss has been like a goal, like actually working out has been a goal.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't work for everybody, but I am very hard on myself. Like when I look at my accountability mirror and I see that I've missed my goal, I put a little sticky note up on there. It's like, bitch, get it together, which is what David would do. He would look at himself every day in the accountability mirror. And if he wasn't better than he was the day before, he would go in on himself.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that aspect of like from the book to like be hard on myself.
Yeah.
Because where some people are like, oh, like I'm gonna be real cool, real chill. It's okay. You'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
For me and for you, because we've had this conversation, I need to be like, hey, motherfucker, get it together.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I always talk about accountability, it's not just about breaking yourself down. I mean, it is, some of that is part of that. But what also is part of that is just being honest with yourself. And it's also like regaining the power over your life.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we don't want to admit that we are the reason why we're at where we're at.
Yeah, we don't want to admit that we're the cause of our own downfall sometimes.
Yeah, and what the accountability mirror allowed us to do is to just say, hey, you know what? Like, you did this, but that's great because now I've gotten the freedom to get myself out. You know, and that's at the end of the day, I can only control my own actions. So another challenge that he did that I really loved was the cookie jar challenge. You know, and
your small victories.
Yeah. And so what, like, there's times that I find myself like getting down on myself and saying, hey, like, fuck, you know, I'm in this shitty situation. But that's also helped me to say, hey, you've been in these situations before, and you've gotten yourself out, and you just do it again. You can do this, Peter. You know, and he says that that's kind of what he goes through when he feels his body start to break down, that he dips into the cookie jar to see all these things that he's accomplished to help him get to the next level.
Yeah, I definitely like I am hard on myself because of the accountability mirror, but I do dip into that cookie jar, you know, when I need, it's like that little extra push, like like with running, it's like, okay, cool, you've been here before, cookie jar, get past it. Yeah. And I took that to heart as well.
Yeah. And you know, I guess the last thing that we would say on the book review is when you see what this guy has done, you know, like, and the fact, like, you know, you think that people that accomplish great things just have some type of genetic advantage or you're just super smart or very determined. And how we were saying, like, you know, he's done like things that some people would think are crazy. Like, why would you do this? But he isn't just some physical specimen. The dude was close to 300 pounds at one point, you know?
He was so overweight that when he wanted to become a Navy SEAL, nobody would take him seriously. Yeah. Until one guy did. And, you know, the best thing about this book was like how it like showed how the human body can push past its limits. Yeah. So I forgot like the time period. I think it was like 90 days or something like that, like 3 months, 6 months, whatever it was.
Like for him to lose the weight. Yeah, I think it was like 3 months exactly. Or something. Yeah.
But he had to lose like over 100 pounds in order to even get in. Yeah. And then, you know, he went through buds 3 times. He did. He had to do it the first time. He got pneumonia. Yeah. The second time he broke his kneecaps, and then the third time, you know, he finally pushed through. Like, his spirit was like unbreaking because he himself, he was like, I will do this. I'm a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm going to get through this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, this book is for everybody, guys. Don't think that you have to be some meathead, power lifter, endurance runner, like military person. Like, no, like, everybody gets like, we're not that, no. Like we just we're normal guys with normal jobs. I mean, my wife, just a stay-at-home mom, gets motivated by David Goggins, just have an open mind. And I promise you that you'll get more from the book than what you think you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's for everybody.
Yeah. My closing thought on that is like everything that you read in the book, even though he kind of uses like his personal like hell and fitness as kind of like a vehicle, everything that he says is applicable to work, relationships, working out, everything. Like it will change your mindset. Reading that book is one of the reasons why we started the Amp Theory podcast.
Yeah. And, we are the Amp Theory podcast. If you guys check us out, go to see us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at the Amp Theory.
We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, anywhere and everywhere that you want to. If you decide you want to find us, that's where you can find us.
Yeah. So we do goal-oriented podcasts, and we're fucking silly doing it.
We're dumb.
Yeah, we take very smart shit and we fuck it all
down.
up. So I mean, if you guys want to come check us out, subscribe, like, share, that'd be great. But definitely go check out David Goggins. Can't Hurt Me. It's a great read. You won't regret it.
Absolutely.